Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thanks again for being here this week. So of course, this week we are doing another quick and easy recipe video. This is what you guys have been asking for the most, so I am putting out another quick and easy recipe. And again, this is another pasta recipe, but you can find a lot of healthy pastas on the market. So pick the one that you enjoy the most and it will basically work with this recipe. This is not fussy at all, so use whatever you can find at your local grocery store. So we're going to be making a basil and spinach oil free pesto, and you can use this in so many different dishes, but I'm just going to show you a traditional way of serving it with the pasta. And of course I have some yummy spaghetti that is gluten-free, and it's rice and quinoa spaghetti. Again, use whatever you can find that is available to you and the healthiest option. So you will need sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds for this recipe. Both will work perfectly. I have used both and it turns out great. So whatever you can find that's available to you, or whatever that is a little bit cheaper, use that. It will work. So either way, if I had to choose what I like better, I would say pumpkin seeds, but again, I've done it with both and it works out perfectly. So you will need a food processor in order to make this recipe, or I guess you can make it in a blender. I prefer the food processor just because it's wider and it's easier for me to mix it as I go along. So my good processor broke and now I have this one, and this one is just a Black & Decker. It is not very strong. Maybe they make better ones. The version I have to do batches because I can't fit everything in. It's quite small and it's not very strong. So use whatever you have, a blender, a processor, whatever it is. So I have the basil and I have spinach, nutritional yeast, and I'm using the sunflower seeds. And again, you can use the pumpkin seeds as well. You can throw in all the seasonings now, and I juiced 2 lemons, so that is going in. And of course those 2 really large tomatoes, you saw how big they are. Those are from the garden and they are fantastic and nice and juicy. I'm going to be using those up. So this recipe is great to use up any veggies that you are afraid may go bad. So, tomato season, we do have a lot of tomatoes going, and when you get to that point where you're like, what else can I do with the tomatoes? Well, you can do this pesto and you can use up the lovely tomatoes, and they are going to add such great flavor to it. So I'm throwing in a lot of garlic because I love that fresh garlic in it. It just really makes the pesto taste so good. You can add garlic powder too if you want to as well, but that's entirely up to you. I use a lot of black pepper in this recipe, a lot, like I sprinkled a lot. Most people may not like that much black pepper, but I feel like it really enhances the flavor. And I'm using paprika as well because I love paprika and I feel like it works really well with this pesto. So I just cooked up my pasta according to the package directions, and I just added it to a large dish. If you have a big bowl or a serving dish, that will work perfectly. This is how the sauce worked out, and it's nice and smooth and incorporated really well. Super tasty. Now I don't want you guys to stress about the measurements because I will have the complete recipe in the description box for you guys. So don't worry about that. I will have all of the details of everything that I put into my pesto in the description box. So yeah, this is how it turned out. Super simple and easy. You just need a processor or a blender and these very simple ingredients, and you can whip up such a healthy, nutritious meal. And herbs are very healthy as well, don't forget. So having all that basil in there, it is super tasty but also has nutritional benefits. So although the pumpkin seeds and the sunflower seeds are going to be higher in fat content, overall when you are eating your serving, you're not having a ton of it. It is incorporated in the whole amount of sauce, which as you can see is a lot, and you are going to have a lot extra, I think. So don't stress about having it. I mean, you could decrease the amount if you want to, if you're really worried about how high the fat content is. But remember, you're not adding any of the olive oil, which typically is in a pesto. It is really oily. Tons of oil goes into pesto. And so you are cutting back on the calories by not adding in all of that olive oil, because again, olive oil is not really going to add anything except a bunch of empty calories to your meal. So you are substituting, and yes, This is a little bit higher fat than, you know, what we would normally have. But again, when you are portioning it out, it is not that bad. And it's going to add a lot of extra flavor, and you again are not adding the olive oil. I'd rather have a whole food as a substitute to the olive oil. If I had to pick one versus the other, I'm going to pick the pumpkin seeds because I'm going to get a lot of nutritional benefits out of the pumpkin seeds by adding it to my food. So you're just going to simply add the sauce on top of your noodles and combine it really well. And like I said, it depends on how much sauce you like, but I did have quite a bit left, so I just put it in an airtight container and I added it to my fridge, and that way I could use it for another meal, and it's just quick and easy and ready to go. So if you wanted to, in your individual servings, you can add a little bit more of the basil as a garnish, and you can sprinkle a little bit of the nutritional yeast on top just to make it look a little prettier and taste a little bit nicer as well. But that's entirely up to you. I just ate it just like this, but if I was serving it to somebody, I would probably add that nice pretty garnish to the dish, and that way, just appearance wise, it looks a little prettier. But yeah, this is just super simple, you know. I'm just adding, you know, the sauce that I want on top of the noodles and mixing it through. And this recipe will last for a while. So if you have leftovers, just place it in a container in the fridge and you can eat it the next day. You can eat it for the next few days and it will still taste amazing. So you can actually meal prep with this as well, which is fantastic, or you can bring it to a picnic along with you. So it's a nice summertime dish as well. I hope that you found this recipe useful, and if you make it, please tag me on Instagram so I can see your creation or your spin-off of my recipe. Thanks so much for being here again this week, guys. Stay healthy, everyone, and I will see you guys in next week's video. Let me know in the comments below what types of videos you would like to see, and I will get working on those. Stay healthy, everyone. Love ya.